The arrival of the Galactic Empire. In the latter half of the 22nd century, humanity had finally begun to find its footing among the stars. Colonies thrived on Mars and Europa, and mining operations in the asteroid belt provided resources once thought to be limitless. Earth itself, bustling with technological innovation and interplanetary diplomacy, was at the heart of this burgeoning civilization. But for all its progress, humanity remained a small, fragile spark in the vast, untamed darkness of space. That fragile spark flickered dangerously when, on a seemingly ordinary day, the first signs of an extraordinary event appeared. Astronomers, monitoring deep space signals, detected a distortion, a ripple in the fabric of reality itself. At first, they dismissed it as a glitch, an error in their systems. But within hours, their instruments confirmed the truth. A fleet of ships, unimaginably large and ominously silent, had emerged just beyond the orbit of the moon. News of the arrival spread like wildfire, sparking panic across the globe. Every screen, every device, every voice carried the same terrifying message. Earth was no longer alone. The fleet, composed of colossal vessels that dwarfed any human construction, hung in orbit like silent gods. They made no attempt to communicate. They didn't need to. Their sheer presence was a declaration, a statement of superiority that demanded attention. In the chaos that followed, the Earth Defense Coalition, EDC, a fragile alliance of the planet's most powerful nations, activated its highest state of readiness. Formed during humanity's first ventures into space to protect against potential asteroid threats, the EDC had never faced anything like this. Leaders convened emergency meetings, scrambling for answers as the world watched with bated breath. At the center of it all was General Mara Lee. Known for her calm demeanor and razor-sharp strategic mind, she was the natural choice to lead Earth's response. From the EDC's fortified command center deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, she studied the alien fleet with a cold, calculating gaze. The silence from the aliens was deafening, but Mara knew it wouldn't last. Her first order of business was clear: send a message. Mara's voice echoed across the airwaves in a broadcast translated into every known language, even encoded in mathematical and musical forms to maximize its chances of being understood. The world watched as her steely expression filled every screen, her words sharp and deliberate. Attention, visitors from beyond our solar system. This is General Mara Lee of the Earth Defense Coalition. You are in orbit around Earth, a sovereign planet. We seek no conflict, but we will defend our home. We are aware of the Galactic Empire and your reputation. Consider this a warning. Stay away from Earth. The message was clear, unwavering, and designed to test the intruders as much as to inform them. Would they understand? Would they care? As the hours ticked by with no response, the tension grew unbearable. Every satellite, every radar station, every human eye was trained on the sky. Finally, the silence broke, not with words, but with action. A single, sleek alien vessel detached itself from the fleet and began descending toward Earth. Its movements were deliberate, almost mocking, as if it was testing humanity's resolve. General Lee immediately ordered a coordinated response. The EDC's missile systems, designed for asteroid defense, but hastily repurposed for this moment, sprang to life. From silos hidden across the globe, missiles roared into the sky, their engines lighting up the night. Guided by advanced AI targeting systems, the missiles converged on the alien craft in a dazzling display of human ingenuity and determination. The alien ship, though advanced, was unprepared for the sheer ferocity of Earth's response. It attempted evasive maneuvers, its shields shimmering with energy as they absorbed hit after hit. But the barrage was relentless. Explosions lit up the heavens as the alien vessel faltered, its shields failing under the onslaught. In a final, desperate act, the ship fired back, its energy weapons slicing through the atmosphere. But the scattered and mobile missile platforms proved too elusive a target. With its systems failing, the alien craft limped back toward its fleet, trailing debris and sparks. It was a small victory for humanity, but it was a victory nonetheless. Across the globe, cheers erupted as people watched the live broadcast of Earth's defiance. For the first time since the aliens' arrival, hope began to replace fear. In the aftermath of the encounter, General Lee addressed the world once more. Standing tall, her voice carried the weight of humanity's resolve. Today, we have shown that Earth will not be cowed. We are not mere prey in the vastness of space. To the Galactic Empire, and to all who watch from the void, we will defend our home, our people, and our future. Earth will stand firm. Her words galvanized a planet. Across the world, people prepared for what was to come. Engineers, scientists, and soldiers worked tirelessly, knowing that the battle was far from over. Humanity had taken its first step into a larger universe, and it had done so with courage, ingenuity, and fire. But as Earth celebrated its triumph, the Galactic Empire watched. On board the massive flagship at the center of the fleet, Emperor Vlak gazed at the blue-green marble hanging in the void. His expression was unreadable, but his mind was clear. "Let them celebrate," he muttered. "It will make their fall all the more satisfying." The battle for Earth had only just begun. The alien fleet remained motionless in orbit, its massive ships casting ominous shadows across the moon's surface. On Earth, however, the stillness of the invaders did little to calm the storm of emotions brewing below. Fear gripped billions, but it was counterbalanced by an undercurrent of defiance. Humanity had seen the scout ship retreat, and while the cost of the encounter was still being assessed, that single act of resistance resonated deeply. The alien craft, powerful and technologically advanced, had underestimated Earth's determination to survive. In the EDC's command center, General Mara Lee sat at the helm of a storm. Reports streamed in from around the globe, detailing the aftermath of the first encounter. Some missile systems had malfunctioned under the strain of rapid deployment. Others had proven surprisingly effective, delivering precision strikes that overwhelmed the alien ship's defenses. Engineers and scientists immediately began analyzing the data, searching for weaknesses in the Empire's technology. Mara's directive was clear: learn, adapt, and prepare. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. Meanwhile, the public response to the victory was electric. Live broadcasts of the scout ship's retreat had been seen by nearly every person on Earth. Social media flooded with messages of hope, pride, and solidarity. Across continents, people began to see themselves not as fragmented nations, but as a single species standing against a common enemy. This unity was bolstered by the EDC's announcement of their success, though they were careful not to downplay the ongoing threat. The victory was a small step, a reminder of humanity's resilience, but the Galactic Empire remained a looming presence. The Empire, for its part, was not idle. The scout ship's return had sparked a flurry of activity among the fleet. On board the flagship, Emperor Vlak listened as his advisors analyzed the encounter. The humans' technology was primitive compared to theirs, yet their coordinated response and the effectiveness of their tactics had been unexpected. Vlak's expression hardened as he reviewed the damage reports. To him, Earth's defiance was not just an anomaly, it was an insult. He issued his orders without hesitation. The Empire would escalate, but not in a way the humans would expect. This was a war of psychology as much as firepower, and Vlak intended to show Earth that resistance would only bring chaos. As the Empire's next move unfolded, Earth began to feel the pressure. Mining outposts in the asteroid belt reported mysterious attacks, their facilities left in ruins before they could even identify the aggressors. Research stations on Mars and Europa were hit with precision strikes, leaving vital infrastructure crippled. Supply routes to the outer colonies became perilous, with cargo ships disappearing without a trace. The attacks were swift and brutal, and while no ships from the Empire's fleet were ever seen, the message was clear: Earth was vulnerable, and the Empire intended to exploit that weakness. These skirmishes forced humanity into a state of constant vigilance. The EDC's resources were stretched thin, as were the nerves of those tasked with defending the solar system. General Mara Lee worked tirelessly, coordinating responses and seeking solutions to the growing crisis. In private, she wrestled with the enormity of the task before her. Earth had to protect its colonies, its infrastructure, and its people, all while preparing for the inevitability of a larger conflict. It was an impossible balancing act, but Mara had no intention of giving up. She knew the stakes were higher than survival. They were about humanity's place in the universe. In a secure laboratory deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, humanity's brightest minds worked on unlocking the secrets of the alien technology salvaged from the damaged scout ship. Dr. Lena Voss, a leading expert in theoretical physics, led the effort with an intensity that bordered on obsession. The energy shielding used by the alien craft fascinated her. Its principles defied conventional understanding, but she was determined to crack its mysteries. Voss believed that if humanity could replicate or even improve upon the alien shields, it could level the playing field against the Empire. Her team's progress was slow but steady, each breakthrough offering a glimmer of hope. As the Empire's attacks continued, Earth's leaders debated how to respond. Some advocated for caution, fearing that an overt escalation would provoke a full-scale invasion. Others, including Mara, argued for a more aggressive approach. The attacks on the colonies had shown that the Empire was already playing a dangerous game. If Earth did not respond decisively, it risked being picked apart piece by piece. After intense deliberation, a plan was devised. It would be a calculated risk, but one that might give humanity the advantage it desperately needed. The decision was made to target an Empire mining outpost on the fringes of the Kuiper Belt. The outpost was strategically insignificant, unlikely to provoke a massive retaliation, but valuable enough to make a statement. The EDC assembled a fleet of modified ships equipped with humanity's latest weaponry, including prototype missiles designed to disrupt energy shields. The mission was as much about testing these new technologies as it was about striking back. Success would mean more than just a tactical victory. It would signal to the Empire that Earth was not an easy target. As the fleet departed, the world held its breath. This was the first time humanity had taken the fight beyond its own defenses, and the stakes were higher than ever. Soldiers, scientists, and civilians alike knew the risks, but they also knew the necessity of the mission. Earth could not afford to wait for the Empire to dictate the terms of the conflict. If humanity was to survive, it had to show that it was willing to fight and to win. The battle for Earth's survival had begun in earnest. The Kuiper Belt mission was a gamble, a bold move that could shift the balance of power or plunge humanity into deeper peril. But for General Mara Lee, Dr. Lena Voss, and billions of people across the planet, there was no turning back. The only way forward was through the fire. Humanity strikes back. The fleet moved silently through the darkness of the Kuiper Belt, Earth's boldest endeavor yet. Every crew member aboard the EDC ships knew the stakes. The mining outpost ahead was a small piece of the Galactic Empire's sprawling domain, but targeting it symbolized humanity's refusal to cower. This wasn't just a mission to test new technology. It was humanity's first offensive move against a force that had loomed as an unstoppable shadow. General Mara Lee had handpicked the operations leader, Commander Elias Hart, a seasoned tactician known for his precision and unyielding resolve. Hart's voice echoed over the comms as the fleet neared its target, steady and confident. "We've trained for this. We've prepared for this. Today, we show the Empire what it means to face humanity. No hesitation. Let's make history." The mining outpost came into view, a web of metallic structures clinging to the icy surface of a distant planetoid. It was heavily automated, guarded by a handful of Imperial defense drones. Compared to the vast Empire fleet orbiting Earth, it was an insignificant outpost, but that was precisely why it had been chosen. The objective was clear: disable the outpost, test the new shield-disrupting missiles, and leave no trace that Earth was the attacker. The EDC fleet launched its assault with surgical precision. The first wave of missiles streaked toward the drones, their advanced AI guiding them through complex, evasive maneuvers. The shield-disrupting technology worked flawlessly, piercing the energy barriers protecting the drones and rendering them vulnerable to conventional weapons. One by one, the drones exploded in silent bursts of light, leaving the outpost defenseless. Inside the lead ship, Hart's crew erupted in cheers as the drones were neutralized, but the commander's focus remained razor-sharp. Phase 1 complete. Begin disabling the outpost systems. Quick and clean, people. A squadron of smaller ships deployed, their electromagnetic pulses frying the outpost's communications and rendering it blind. It was over in minutes, a perfect execution of strategy and innovation. Back on Earth, General Mara Lee and her team monitored the operation in real time. The success was undeniable, but Mara's expression remained guarded. This was a victory, yes, but it was also a declaration of war. She knew the Empire would retaliate, and they would not make the same mistakes again. The Empire's response was swifter than anyone anticipated. Less than a day after the attack, Earth's outer colonies reported increased activity from Imperial reconnaissance ships. The Empire was searching, piecing together clues to identify the attacker. Mara ordered all EDC forces to adopt stealth protocols, concealing their movements and masking their energy signatures. Every trace of the Kuiper Belt mission was wiped from Earth's records, leaving the Empire grasping at shadows. But the Empire was not a force that could be fooled for long. Emperor Vlak, upon learning of the outpost's destruction, was both enraged and intrigued. The precision of the attack and the apparent use of shield-disrupting technology pointed to a foe more capable than he had anticipated. "They've learned quickly," Vlak said to his council, his voice cold. "Too quickly. Increase reconnaissance. Find the source. If they want to challenge the Empire, we will give them the war they seek." As the Empire escalated its efforts, Earth braced for the inevitable. Engineers worked around the clock to fortify defenses, while Dr. Lena Voss's team focused on refining the shield-disrupting technology. Voss herself had become a symbol of humanity's ingenuity, her tireless work a beacon of hope in a time of uncertainty. The prototypes used in the Kuiper Belt mission had been effective, but she knew they could be improved. "If we're going to survive this, we need to stay ahead," she told her team. "The Empire adapts. So must we." The attacks on Earth's colonies continued, each one more devastating than the last. The Empire's strategy was clear: force Earth to spread its defenses thin, weaken its resolve, and then deliver the final blow. But humanity had learned from the first wave of attacks. Mobile defense platforms, equipped with shield-disrupting technology, were deployed to critical locations, turning previously vulnerable targets into traps. The turning point came during an Imperial raid on a mining facility near Ceres. Expecting an easy victory, the Empire's ships were caught off guard when Earth's defenses retaliated with newfound precision. Shield-disrupting missiles tore through their energy barriers, and the mobile platforms launched coordinated counterattacks. The Imperial fleet retreated, leaving behind smoldering wreckage and a renewed sense of hope for Earth. These victories, though small in the grand scheme, began to shift the tide. Humanity's ability to adapt, to learn from each encounter, was unlike anything the Empire had faced before. The galaxy had long known the Empire as an unstoppable force, but now, whispers began to spread. A new power was rising, one that would not be subjugated so easily. General Mara Lee, addressing the world after the Ceres victory, spoke with the gravity of someone who understood both the cost of war and the strength it could forge. "This is not the end of our struggle. The Empire will come for us, stronger and more determined. But they underestimate us. They see a species divided by borders and languages. What they fail to see is a species united by its will to survive. We are not just defending Earth. We are defending humanity's future." Across the globe, those words sparked a fire in hearts and minds. Humanity's fight was far from over, but for the first time, the galaxy began to see the truth. Earth was not a prize to be conquered. It was a force to be reckoned with. As the Galactic Empire regrouped from its losses, it set its sights on a far more critical target: Earth's lunar base. Strategically vital and heavily fortified, the base served as the nerve center for asteroid mining, research operations, and interstellar communications. The Empire sought its destruction as a way to cripple Earth's infrastructure and deliver a blow to humanity's morale. Emperor Vlak's orders were clear: take the moon, and Earth would crumble. The warning came in the form of a faint signal, a burst of encrypted data intercepted by Earth's defense network. Analysts worked around the clock to decode it, and when they succeeded, the gravity of the situation became clear. A fleet of Imperial dreadnoughts was en route to the moon, accompanied by smaller attack craft and support ships. Their purpose was unmistakable. The lunar base would be the stage for the next great battle in humanity's fight for survival. General Mara Lee convened an emergency meeting with her top commanders. The room was tense, but Mara exuded calm authority as she outlined the stakes. The moon was Earth's first line of defense. If it fell, the Empire would gain a foothold from which they could launch direct assaults on the planet. Every resource, every weapon, every ounce of human ingenuity would need to be thrown into the battle to hold the line. Command of the lunar base was entrusted to Commander Raj Patel, a seasoned strategist known for his ability to think on his feet. As the Empire's fleet drew closer, Patel orchestrated the base's defenses with meticulous care. Missile batteries were concealed in the moon's craters, drones were deployed in strategic positions, and Earth's latest shield-disrupting technology was integrated into the base's weapon systems. The moon itself, with its rugged terrain and low gravity, became an ally in the fight to come. The Empire's fleet arrived in a blaze of light, their ships casting long shadows across the lunar surface. The dreadnoughts opened fire immediately, their weapons unleashing a torrent of energy beams that scorched the ground and shattered smaller installations. The lunar base responded in kind, its concealed batteries returning fire with precision. Missiles streaked through the thin lunar atmosphere, their payloads aimed directly at the Empire's shields. The battle was a spectacle of destruction and defiance. Earth's drones darted between the Empire's ships, their agility making them difficult targets. Equipped with shield-disrupting missiles, they inflicted damage far beyond their size. Imperial fighters swarmed in response, their sleek forms weaving through the chaos as they targeted the drones and surface defenses. Inside the command center, Patel's voice was a steady presence amidst the turmoil. Keep the battery cycling. Don't give them time to adapt. Drones, focus on their support ships, cut them off from their reinforcements. His orders were carried out with precision, his crew operating as a single, cohesive unit. The shield-disrupting technology proved to be humanity's greatest asset. Where the Empire had once been nearly invincible, their ships now faltered under concentrated fire. One by one, smaller Imperial vessels fell, their shields flickering out before being obliterated by Earth's missiles. The larger dreadnoughts, however, were another matter entirely. Their massive shields absorbed incredible amounts of punishment, and their return fire devastated sections of the lunar base. As the battle raged on, Patel made a bold decision. Using the moon's low gravity to their advantage, he ordered several drone squadrons to target the Empire's flagship directly. The drones swarmed like angry hornets, dodging enemy fire as they closed in on the massive vessel. Their shield-disrupting missiles struck true, creating a brief but critical window of vulnerability. The lunar base's largest railgun, a weapon of immense destructive power, fired in that moment. The shot pierced the flagship's hull, causing a catastrophic chain reaction that sent the dreadnought spiraling out of control. The destruction of the flagship marked a turning point in the battle. The remaining Imperial forces, now leaderless and disorganized, began to retreat. Earth's forces pressed the advantage, driving the Empire back into the void. The lunar surface, scared and battered, stood as a testament to humanity's resilience. When the battle finally ended, cheers erupted across Earth and its colonies. The victory was hard-earned, and the cost was high. Sections of the lunar base were in ruins, and casualties were significant, but the moon had held, and humanity had once again proven its strength in the face of overwhelming odds. General Mara Lee addressed the world in the aftermath, her words carrying both pride and resolve. The Empire believed they could break us. They thought they could strike fear into our hearts and force us to yield. But today, we showed them the truth. We are not a scattered, divided people. We are one, and we will not be conquered. On the Empire's flagship, Emperor Vlak listened to the reports of the defeat. His expression was inscrutable, but the tension in the room was palpable. The humans had surprised him once again, and the loss of a dreadnought was not something the Empire could ignore. For the first time, Vlak began to see Earth not as an annoyance to be crushed, but as a true adversary. He leaned back in his chair, his gaze fixed on the holographic map of the solar system. "They are formidable," he admitted to his advisors, "but they are also reckless. Let them savor their victory. It will only make their eventual fall more satisfying." Back on Earth, as the lunar base's repairs began, humanity prepared for what was sure to come next. The Empire was not defeated, not yet, but the battle for the moon had shown that Earth was willing to fight for its survival, no matter the cost. The war was far from over, but the tide was beginning to turn. The victory on the moon sent ripples across the solar system and beyond. Earth had stood its ground against the Galactic Empire's mightiest ships, and the destruction of their flagship was a declaration that humanity was not to be underestimated. Across Earth, celebrations erupted, but the elation was tempered by the knowledge that this was only the beginning. The Empire would return, stronger and angrier, and the next battle would undoubtedly push humanity to its limits. In the aftermath of the lunar battle, repairs and preparations began in earnest. The lunar base, though battered, remained operational, its craters and tunnels echoing with the sound of reconstruction. On Earth, factories and research centers ramped up production of shield-disrupting technology, now a proven game-changer. The EDC allocated every available resource to fortifying Earth's defenses, while scientists worked tirelessly to refine and expand their arsenal. At the heart of these efforts was Dr. Lena Voss. The brilliant physicist had become the face of humanity's technological resistance, her breakthroughs in energy manipulation offering hope in a seemingly hopeless fight. In the wake of the battle, her team had recovered fragments of the Empire's flagship, a treasure trove of alien technology ripe for reverse engineering. With these materials, Lena sought to achieve what had once seemed impossible, creating a weapon that could disable even the Empire's most advanced shields. The first major breakthrough came when Lena and her team discovered a flaw in the Empire's shielding systems. The shields relied on a complex lattice of energy fields designed to deflect physical and energy-based attacks. But under certain frequencies, the lattice could be destabilized, creating momentary gaps. These gaps, while fleeting, were long enough to allow Earth's weapons to deliver devastating strikes. Using this discovery, Lena developed a prototype device she called the Resonance Disruptor. Unlike the missiles used in the Kuiper Belt and lunar battles, the disruptor emitted a concentrated wave of energy that could destabilize shields from a distance. This device, if successfully deployed, could render entire enemy fleets vulnerable in seconds. The implications were staggering. For the first time, humanity had a weapon that could challenge the Empire on an equal footing. As testing of the Resonance Disruptor began, the Galactic Empire was already preparing its next move. Emperor Vlak, enraged by the loss of his flagship, had ordered a full-scale intelligence operation to uncover Earth's secrets. Imperial agents, disguised as traders and explorers, infiltrated the solar system, gathering data on Earth's defenses and technology. The Empire's fleet, meanwhile, continued to probe Earth's outer colonies, testing their responses and gathering intelligence on the EDC's movements. General Mara Lee, ever the strategist, anticipated the Empire's actions. She ordered the deployment of decoy installations in the asteroid belt, baiting Imperial scouts into revealing their presence. These decoys, equipped with surveillance equipment, allowed Earth to track the Empire's movements and plan their countermeasures. Mara also established a network of stealth satellites, providing the EDC with real-time intelligence on enemy activity. The turning point came when one of Earth's stealth satellites intercepted a critical transmission from the Empire. The message detailed plans for a coordinated assault on Earth's orbital defenses, a prelude to a full-scale invasion. The attack would involve multiple fleets, converging from different points in the solar system to overwhelm Earth's forces. The timeline was clear. Humanity had mere weeks to prepare. Mara called an emergency meeting of the EDC's top brass, where she outlined a bold and risky plan. Rather than waiting for the Empire to strike, Earth would take the fight to them. The resonance disruptor, still untested in live combat, would be the centerpiece of this operation. If successful, the device could disable the shields of an entire fleet, allowing Earth's forces to deliver a decisive blow. It was a gamble, but one that could change the course of the war. The operation, codenamed Phoenix Strike, called for a coordinated assault on one of the Empire's staging grounds near Jupiter. This base, a heavily fortified supply depot, was critical to the Empire's planned invasion. Destroying it would not only disrupt their logistics, but also send a clear message. Earth was no longer content to defend. It was ready to attack. As the EDC fleet prepared for the mission, tension ran high. Soldiers and pilots underwent intensive training, while engineers worked around the clock to ensure the resonance disruptor was fully operational. Commander Elias Hart, the hero of the Kuiper Belt mission, was chosen to lead the assault. His calm demeanor and tactical brilliance made him the ideal candidate for what many saw as a near-impossible mission. The fleet departed under the cover of darkness, its movements concealed by the stealth satellites. As they approached the Empire's staging ground, Hart addressed his crew. "We've faced impossible odds before, and we've prevailed. This mission isn't just about survival, it's about showing the Empire that we are not their prey. We are their equals. Let's remind them why Earth is worth fighting for." The attack began with a series of feints, drawing the Empire's defenses away from the supply depot. Once the enemy was sufficiently distracted, the resonance disruptor was activated. The device emitted a low, almost imperceptible hum as it unleashed its energy wave. Within moments, the Empire's shields flickered and failed, leaving their ships exposed. Earth's fleet wasted no time. Missiles and railgun fire rained down on the unshielded ships, tearing through their hulls with devastating precision. The supply depot, once a symbol of Imperial dominance, was reduced to a smoldering wreck. The Empire's fleet, caught off guard and unable to mount an effective defense, retreated in disarray. The success of Phoenix Strike was a turning point. For the first time, Earth had taken the initiative, striking at the heart of the Empire's operations and emerging victorious. Across the galaxy, the news spread like wildfire. Humanity, once dismissed as a minor species on the edge of space, had proven itself a force to be reckoned with. Back on Earth, General Mara Lee addressed a planet united by hope and determination. "This is only the beginning. The Empire believed they could crush us with their might, but they underestimated our resolve. We are not fighting for conquest or domination. We are fighting for our home, for our future, and for the right to stand as equals in this galaxy. Let them come. We are ready." The Empire, reeling from the loss, began to rethink its strategy. Emperor Vlak, though furious, could not ignore the growing threat Earth represented. For the first time, he began to consider the possibility that this war might not end in a simple victory. The humans had proven themselves unpredictable, resourceful, and relentless, a combination the Empire had not faced in centuries. As Earth celebrated its triumph, the question lingered: how far would the Empire go to reclaim its dominance? And how much was humanity willing to sacrifice to protect its place among the stars? The answer would shape the future of the galaxy. The success of Operation Phoenix Strike sent shockwaves through the Galactic Empire, forcing its leadership to confront a truth they had long dismissed. Earth was no mere frontier planet. It was a rising force capable of challenging even the Empire's vast power. The destruction of their staging ground near Jupiter had not only delayed their planned invasion, but also humiliated them on a galactic scale. Emperor Vlach, his pride wounded and his empire shaken, vowed to respond with overwhelming force. On Earth, the victory was both a triumph and a call to action. The EDC had proven its ability to take the fight to the Empire, but the war was far from over. General Merrilee knew that the Empire's retaliation would be swift and brutal. Humanity's survival depended on staying one step ahead, and that meant taking even greater risks. Dr. Lena Voss and her team continued to work at a frantic pace, refining the resonance disruptor and studying the wreckage of Imperial ships salvaged from the battle. Their analysis revealed a chilling discovery. The Empire was experimenting with new shield technologies that could adapt to Earth's weapons. This revelation underscored the urgency of their work. Humanity needed to innovate faster than the Empire could adapt. Meanwhile, Earth's military strategists debated their next move. Some argued for a purely defensive strategy, focusing on fortifying key installations and colonies. Others, emboldened by the success of Phoenix Strike, pushed for more aggressive actions. Mara struck a balance between the two, authorizing limited offensive operations to disrupt the Empire's plans while continuing to build Earth's defenses. The war was no longer just about survival. It was about proving that humanity could stand as an equal among the stars. As Earth's forces mobilized, the Empire launched a new campaign of terror. Instead of attacking major installations, they targeted civilian outposts and supply lines, spreading fear and chaos across the solar system. These attacks were designed to weaken Earth's resolve and sow division among its people. But rather than breaking under the pressure, humanity rallied. Volunteers flooded recruitment centers, engineers worked tirelessly to repair damaged infrastructure, and communities came together to support the war effort. One of the most harrowing moments came during an Imperial assault on a civilian research station on Europa. The station, a hub of scientific discovery, was ill-equipped to defend itself. Imperial ships descended without warning, their weapons tearing through the station's outer defenses. The EDC, alerted by a distress signal, scrambled the fleet to respond, but it was clear they would not arrive in time. Inside the station, Dr. Elaine Carter, a leading researcher, took charge of the desperate situation. With communications severed and the station's defenses failing, she and her team rigged the facility's experimental energy core to emit a massive electromagnetic pulse. It was a dangerous gamble, one that could destroy the station and everyone inside. But Carter knew it was the only chance to repel the attackers. As the Imperial ships closed in, the pulse was unleashed. A blinding wave of energy surged through space, disabling the Empire's vessels and sparing the station from annihilation. When the EDC fleet arrived, they found the Imperial ships adrift and vulnerable, their crews in disarray. The battle was won, but the cost was high. Carter and her team had sacrificed their lives to protect the station and its vital research. The heroism displayed during the Europa assault became a rallying cry for humanity. Across Earth and its colonies, people embraced a new motto: for the future. It was a reminder of what they were fighting for, not just survival, but the hope of a better tomorrow. This spirit of unity and sacrifice drove humanity to new heights of innovation and determination. The Empire, meanwhile, grappled with its own challenges. Emperor Vlach, though enraged by the setbacks, began to see the humans as a threat that required more than brute force to subdue. He ordered his intelligence network to infiltrate Earth's defenses, seeking to uncover their secrets and exploit their weaknesses. At the same time, he convened his top strategists to devise a plan that would finally break Earth's resistance. One of the Empire's greatest minds, Admiral Korath, proposed a strategy of psychological warfare. Instead of focusing solely on military targets, the Empire would attempt to undermine humanity's unity by exploiting divisions and spreading propaganda. Vlach approved the plan, and soon, Imperial agents began planting false information and inciting unrest across Earth's colonies. The campaign was subtle but effective, creating mistrust and straining the fragile alliances that held humanity together. Mara recognized the threat early and took decisive action. She worked closely with Earth's leaders to reinforce the importance of unity, launching public campaigns to counter the Empire's propaganda. At the same time, she tasked her intelligence team with rooting out Imperial infiltrators. The effort was grueling, but it paid off. Several Imperial agents were captured, and their operations were exposed, restoring trust among Earth's colonies. Amid these challenges, the EDC prepared for its next major operation. Intelligence suggested that the Empire was amassing a new fleet near Saturn, positioning itself for a second attempt to invade Earth. Mara, unwilling to wait for the attack, devised a plan to strike first. The operation, codenamed Iron Horizon, would target the Empire's fleet while it was still vulnerable, using a combination of stealth tactics and the resonance disruptor. The mission was set in motion with a fleet led by Commander Elias Hart, now a seasoned veteran of the war. As the EDC ships approached Saturn, tensions were high. The Empire's fleet was massive, and even with the element of surprise, the odds were daunting. But Hart's calm leadership and the resilience of his crew carried them forward. The battle that followed was one of the most intense of the war. The resonance disruptor, now upgraded with Linavos's latest refinements, proved its worth once again, disabling the shields of the Empire's ships and allowing Earth's forces to strike with precision. The Empire fought back fiercely, their advanced weaponry inflicting heavy losses on the EDC fleet. But humanity's determination could not be broken. After hours of relentless combat, the Empire's fleet was forced to retreat, leaving behind a trail of destruction. The victory at Saturn marked a turning point in the war. For the first time, humanity had not only defended its territory, but also dealt a significant blow to the Empire's offensive capabilities. The cost had been high, but the reward was immeasurable. Earth had shown the galaxy that it was not merely surviving, it was winning. As Earth celebrated its triumph, Mara Lee stood in the command center, her gaze fixed on the stars. She knew the war was far from over, but for the first time, she allowed herself a moment of hope. Humanity had proven its strength, its ingenuity, and its unyielding resolve. The future was still uncertain, but one thing was clear: Earth would not be conquered. The victory at Saturn had shifted the balance of power. For the first time, the Galactic Empire was on the defensive, forced to reevaluate its strategies against an adversary that refused to break. Humanity, now emboldened by its successes, prepared for what they knew would be the ultimate confrontation. The Empire was wounded, but far from defeated, and their next move would determine the fate of Earth and its people. In the heart of the Empire's capital, Emperor Vlak gathered his most trusted advisors. The losses near Jupiter, on the Moon, and at Saturn had tarnished the Empire's image of invincibility. It was no longer enough to subjugate Earth. Vlak wanted to make an example of humanity, to show the galaxy what happened to those who dared defy him. His plan was as brutal as it was ambitious: a full-scale invasion of Earth, with a fleet so vast it would blot out the stars. On Earth, General Mara Lee prepared for the coming storm. The EDC's intelligence network, bolstered by captured Imperial agents, had intercepted fragments of the Empire's plans. The scale of the invasion was unprecedented, a force designed to overwhelm Earth's defenses in one decisive blow. Mara knew this would be humanity's greatest test, a battle that would either secure their place among the stars or consign them to history. Dr. Lena Voss and her team worked around the clock, pushing the limits of human ingenuity. The resonance disruptor, now a cornerstone of Earth's defenses, was upgraded once more, its range and efficiency significantly enhanced. But Voss wasn't content with simply improving existing technology. She unveiled a new innovation: the photon spear, a weapon capable of piercing through even the Empire's heaviest armor. This breakthrough would give Earth a chance to target the Empire's flagship and eliminate its command structure. The Empire's fleet arrived in the solar system with the precision of a tidal wave. Thousands of ships, from nimble fighters to massive dreadnoughts, spread out in formation, their weapon systems glowing ominously. The EDC responded with everything it had: orbital defense platforms, stealth drones, and Earth's fleet, now equipped with the latest technology, moved into position. Across the globe, civilians sought shelter, their eyes fixed on the skies as humanity's fate hung in the balance. The battle began with a coordinated assault by the Empire's smaller ships, probing Earth's defenses for weaknesses. The EDC's stealth drones engaged first, darting through the chaos and delivering pinpoint strikes with shield-disrupting weapons. Orbital platforms rained down railgun fire, each shot carefully calculated to maximize damage. The Empire retaliated with overwhelming force, their energy weapons carving through space like lances of light. Amid the carnage, Commander Elias Hart led a squadron of Earth's most advanced fighters, weaving through the chaos to target the Empire's support ships. The photon spear proved devastating, its concentrated energy beams slicing through Imperial hulls with ease. But the Empire's response was relentless. For every ship humanity destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. As the battle raged on, the Empire's flagship emerged. A colossal vessel, bristling with weaponry and surrounded by a protective phalanx of smaller ships. It was the heart of the invasion, and its destruction was the key to breaking the Empire's assault. General Mara Lee issued the order: focus all firepower on the flagship. It ends here. Dr. Voss's resonance disruptor was deployed, its energy wave cascading across the battlefield. The Empire's shields faltered, creating a fleeting window of opportunity. Hart's squadron, armed with photon spears, launched a daring assault on the flagship, dodging waves of enemy fire as they closed in on their target. The flagship's defenses were formidable, but Earth's forces pressed on, determined to deliver the final blow. Inside the EDC's command center, tension was palpable as Mara coordinated the attack. "Hold the line," she urged her officers. "We can't let them regroup." Earth's orbital platforms, now focused entirely on the flagship, unleashed a relentless barrage of missiles and railgun fire. The flagship's armor began to buckle, its once imposing presence reduced to a flickering shadow of its former glory. The decisive moment came when Hart, leading the charge, delivered the photon spear's final strike. The weapon pierced the flagship's core, triggering a massive explosion that lit up the battlefield. The shockwave rippled through the Empire's fleet, sending smaller ships spiraling out of control. With their command structure obliterated, the remaining Imperial forces began to retreat, their cohesion shattered. Earth had done the unthinkable. Against a fleet that had spanned the stars, humanity had stood its ground and emerged victorious. The skies above Earth were littered with the debris of the Empire's armada, a testament to the resilience and ingenuity of the human spirit. As the dust settled, Mara addressed the world one last time. Her voice carried the weight of all they had endured, but also the pride of what they had achieved. Today, we have shown the galaxy what it means to be human. We are not defined by our technology or our weapons. We are defined by our courage, our unity, and our unyielding resolve. The Empire sought to break us, but we stood firm. Earth is our home, and we will defend it to the last. In the Empire's distant capital, Emperor Vlak watched the aftermath in stunned silence. For the first time in his reign, he had been defeated, not by an advanced civilization, but by a young, defiant species that refused to yield. He clenched his fists, his expression a mix of rage and grudging respect. "They've earned their place," he muttered. "But this isn't over." Back on Earth, the celebrations were tempered by the knowledge that the war was far from won. The Empire had retreated, but they would undoubtedly return. Still, humanity stood stronger than ever, united by a common purpose and a belief in their future. They had faced the darkness of the galaxy and shown that they were more than survivors. They were pioneers, explorers, and warriors, ready to carve out their place among the stars.